Howdy. You ever been late to work? I know I have. Now when you show up 20 or 30 minutes late to a normal workday, 8 to 10 to 12 hour workday, you can still have a very productive day. But that's not the case with corn. Today you're going to find out just how unproductive corn can be when it shows up to work late.
How's it going? I'm out checking crops with the combine because I figure if I find something that looks like it's ready to go, I can just nose right in and get started on it. But so far, everything looks pretty green.
Actually, I was just warming it up to change the oil. But right now, we are going to go pick some corn by hand. Remember the emergence trial that we did with the planter and the flags, all the different colored flags this spring?
Here's another one. Flag it.
So I marked out a couple test strips and I flagged each plant on the day that it came out of the ground with a flag representing how many days it took for that plant to come up. So what we're trying to do today is figure out what damage was done by plants coming out of the ground late.
Man, I don't remember how far out in the field this was.
Hey, if you happen to see any green, yellow, red, and blue flags here, could you let me know?
All right, I don't feel like it was this far in.
Okay, so I think it goes without saying that I should have dropped some sort of a geo pin on my phone to remember exactly where this was after 25 minutes of wandering aimlessly throughout a cornfield.
Okay, just on initial inspection of the plants.
So here is a full green flag, which means this plant came up on the very first day that I started to see plants coming up. You follow that up, got a pretty nice ear on there. And the plant looks good. It's got a nice thick stalk. You go down here to this cutoff red flag. This was towards the end of the trial. This is one of the last plants to come up. Look at this spindly little stalk. Did it even make an ear? I'm fairly impressed with this ear actually, from this dinky spindly little plant. All right, let's pick some ears so we can get them categorized.
Hope you liked the video.
Andrew, the video's not over yet.
Oh.
Okay, so here's what we've got. Now, if you remember back to the emergence flagging disaster video, you'll remember that this corn came out of the ground really slowly and really uneven. There was something wrong with that particular hybrid. And so I ended up grouping these in groups of 2 days. So the first 2 days is when these plants came up. Day 3 and 4 is when these plants came up. 5 and 6 here. And then 7 and 8 right here. We ended up with a total stand of 25,000 plants out of 36,000 planted seeds, which is terrible. So if you look at these ears, in the first couple days, they all look fairly uniform, except these two here on the end look pretty goofy. These two actually came off the same stalk. So when I'm doing a yield check here on these individual days, I'm counting these as one ear because they came from one plant. Now you can see the next group, day 3 and 4, look pretty uniform. Day 5 and 6, I'm fairly impressed with the number of large ears here, but what I noticed out in the field was these really big, really nice looking ears. They came from a plant where there was no plant growing on either side of it. Something went wrong with the seedlings that were coming up next to it, and so this plant had all the sunlight and all the nutrients to itself. This came off a plant that had good day 1 and 2 plants growing on both sides of it, and so it was shaded out, didn't have enough nutrients or enough water. And then you get down to the last 2 days, and look at this, is just terrible. A lot of these did not pollinate properly, don't have any corn on them. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to run an app on my phone that counts the number of kernels on each ear, and we're going to see what the average yield is for each one of these emergence groups. And I'm pretty sure we're going to find that we're going to make more money on the corn that's going to emerge out of the ground quicker, and we're going to make a lot less on the corn that's going to come out of the ground towards the end. 634. 607. 807. This is a good ear. We want to have all of this kind of ear. Okay, these are the ears from group 3. You ready? 353. 384. All right, every kernel has been accounted for. Let's figure out what we've got for an average yield on each group. Now, assuming a 25,000 final stand on this pathetically emerging hybrid, group 1, the plants that came up in the first 2 days averaged 195 bushels per acre. Group 2, days 3 and 4, averaged 199. Group 3 averaged 153 bushels per acre, and these guys down here at the end, the real late emergers, only averaged 105 bushels per acre. Let's put this back in terms of an 8-hour workday. These plants right here, they showed up what is the equivalent of 24 minutes late on an 8-hour workday, and their productivity is right next to 0. Now granted, this guy did too, but because of this hybrid that had all of the germination problems, he didn't have anybody sitting at the desk to the left of him or the desk to the right of him. So he was super productive, even though he showed up late to work. Hopefully next year, I'll be able to do this on a hybrid that comes out of the ground the way it's supposed to. I'm guessing the results are going to be the same though. The earlier you get your plants out of the ground and the more consistently, the better you're going to do. With every bushel of corn worth about $5 right now, the difference between 199 bushels and 105 bushels per acre is a lot of money. So my advice to you would be, first of all, buy a hybrid that's not going to fail to germinate properly. And second of all, get it planted as well as you possibly can. You want every one of those little corn plants to come up at exactly the same time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you feel like you've learned something today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go widen a driveway so that I can get this massive yield out of the field. Thanks for riding along. I'll see you next time.